Well, hello, everybody. We welcome you to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and I am excited. There is so much getting ready to happen. We are at the beginning of the summer of 2017. A lot of positive things. In our first segment today, we'll be rejoined by Mr. Mel Wells, the president of One Day at a Time, and he's going to talk about Recovery Weekend that's coming up. He's going to talk about HIV/AIDS Candelight Vigil that happens annually. That's going to be happening in June, and a whole lot more. Then when we turn the page, we are going to shine the spotlight on an organization observing its 10th anniversary this year, and I'm talking about none other than the Global Leadership Charter School. And the president and CEO, she's here to tell that story. So stay along with us for the ride. We'll be back in just a moment. Well, hello, everybody, and now we begin our program. If you just turned your television set on, let me reintroduce myself. I'm Thera Martin Milling. I'm the host of this program. It's called News You Can Use, and we get this program produced at LaSalle TV. Thank God for LaSalle. In our first segment today, we are being joined by Mr. Mel Wells, the president of One Day at a Time. And not only is he the president, he's my brother. Good to see you.
Good evening, my sister.
I'm so glad to have you here, and it's like a miracle. God is so good to even get you here. It was an 11th hour request on my part, which if you don't do something about your crazy sister,
right.
I'm always coming to you with this last minute stuff.
Right.
But it's so important what you have to share. Tell our viewing audience what's happening in June of 2017.
All right, on June 1st, we have our HIV and AIDS Trauma Vigil, we call it now. We're going to be having free food, we're having entertainment. We have old school concert actually this year, being done by Slick Rick the Ruler, and hosted by Buck Wild. We have, everything is free, the food, we have games for the kids, HIV and AIDS testing if somebody needs an HIV and AIDS test
and
or
it's
HIV
free?
test. Just free test, come on out. But we give you a $5 gift card to actually take the test. And that's just a big, kickoff for our summer, because we want everybody to have a safe summer, especially the kids. Put the guns down and put the drugs down, because also the city of Philadelphia now, we're suffering with an opiate epidemic, and that's why we turn it into a trauma vigil as well for our city of Philadelphia.
That is so crazy. I mean, just in the last few weeks of April, we've just seen all of this violence. Like when we wake up on Monday morning, television news reports are saying, oh, it's been another terrible weekend in the city of Philadelphia. 20 people were shot 2 weekends ago. This past weekend, I think it was 4 people who were killed, and many more who were shot and injured. It's just out of control. And I know you've been on the front lines since your dad put you on the front lines of trying to do our part from One Day at a Time stand to address the violence and try to encourage these young bucks out on these corners to stop it. Stop it already.
Please.
And I know we're not going to give up. We'll never give up.
Never giving up. Never giving up.
And truthfully, probably the violence will never go completely away. But we just want to slow it down if we can.
Yeah, that's why I'm teaming up with the city of Philadelphia. I was actually on the mayor subcommittee for his task force talking about opiates, but also on the violence side of it, what we discovered as city partners is that we're dealing with trauma. We're not just dealing with violence. We're dealing with stuff that, kids have been dealing with since the age of 5 or 6 years old. They've been living in a nightmare. So what do you think is going to happen when a kid is 14 years old, if his mother was addicted to drugs, or his father was locked away, or seen his father get killed, seen his sister molested? These are the things you're not hearing about. So we're taking a different approach to this, and we're starting to fight trauma. So we will be out there marching and doing things again, but one of the things we want to do is offer services when we come to that family that's in need. We don't want to just show up and be on TV talking about stop the violence, but we want to have services to actually change the family dynamic.
And when you talk about services, One Day at a Time is on the front line, and I'm proud to say that. On one hand, there's those who are continuing to use intravenous drugs.
IDU,
And so we hand out free condoms.
Yes. We're doing a lot. I don't think we're doing enough. Last year we were able to touch over 56,000 individuals. So whether it's HIV and AIDS testing, case management for HIV and AIDS, help for drug and alcohol. We even have a mentorship program now called 1,000 Strong, a BMX bike program for the youth. Because without all the different services, we can't tell you how we would put a family back together if you don't have services for each family member. So that's what we're doing right now.
And then One Day at a Time has a food cupboard. Now that food cupboard is not for everybody in the community, but who's it for?
Well, I'm not at privilege to really say who's it's for,
Okay.
but it's due through case management.
Okay.
If you get a referral from a certain case manager, you could come in. We're averaging over 200 families in our community that actually comes to that food bank
A month?
on a continuous basis. And my team, I must thank all of my staff. They're doing the hard work. We're #1 when it comes to finding HIV and AIDS individuals because we go to where people don't want to go. We'll go back to the crack house. Yes. We'll come in your home if you invite us in your home. We go to places where people just does not imagine that, you know, these things of nightmares are transpiring in.
Yeah, I always remember my uncle who was a crack addict. He's now gone, God rest his soul. But just the fact that ODAT was willing to open the door for him. Now, as it turned out, unfortunately, he wasn't really ready.
Yeah.
And he didn't stick with the program more than 24 hours. And he wanted to get back out on the street. And there's other people like him. But the thing about One Day at a Time is you will give anyone a chance.
Yeah.
Whether you come and say, oh, well, I've got health insurance and I've got $10,000 in the bank and I'm here and I need help. Or you can come in and say, I have nothing.
That's
but
right.
I want to be clean. Can you help me?
Yeah, that's it. Well, we can definitely help anybody that comes our way, but you gotta want the help.
Yes.
You gotta be willing. You gotta have the desire to want to help. You know, we try not to get caught up in all the politics of the medical billing and the money. We believe if we save that individual life, that same individual could come back and give something back to the company one day if we're able to help him get to the level of life on life terms that he may need. So you do not need money to come into the organization. We wish you do come in with some type of fee, but if not, and you're ready and you're willing to do those things, we'll make something happen for you as well. Women and men, we have things for kids as well that are suffering from opiates. We now have a opiate grant that gets tailored for families, and especially for youth.
Yes.
You'll be surprised how many kids that are actually, I hate to say, from 11 years old all the way up to 21 that has actually did with IDU, you know, cocaine. It's a nightmare that's going on out there, but we got to be willing to acknowledge it.
I tell you, it just breaks my heart. In particular, I keep seeing so much attention drawn to the Kensington area of Philadelphia.
Yes.
And it looks horrible. It sounds horrible. When I read it, I shudder. I mean, it's like, wow. But it's not only Kensington, right, brother? Well,
it's not only Kensington. You know, it's a citywide thing. But we must say we have the highest rates of potency when it comes to heroin, dope, if they call it on the streets. Up in the Kensington area, you have those train tracks. But One Day at a Time, Project Home, and I believe Prevention Point, we're coming together under the mayor's mandate, and we're going to get those tracks cleaned up, and anywhere else we can go to turn those things around, because you'll be surprised how many people are dying from drugs and alcohol on the street, but especially the opiates, you know, especially the heroin, because they have something now mixed with it, fentanyl. It's not even a real dope that's out there. So your first time using, you can die, so be careful.
Let me just ask you this. A young lady who is a certified nursing assistant, she works at Temple University Hospital, my daughter's girlfriend, and they were talking last night, and she was talking about two young ladies, one who died last night. They came in with that opioid stuff. How do you pronounce it?
Opiates.
Opiates, okay.
Yeah.
So this one young lady has already died, the other one is clinging to life. And she said, Miss Thera, you know what I don't understand? It seems like when police reports go out and say a certain drug is killing people, everybody rushes to the neighborhood where that drug was purchased because they want to buy some?
Yeah. Huh? So what you're fighting is you're fighting the mentality of an addict. You know, we tend to manipulate our own selves. And if it's a potent drug, that's where they may go to get that potent drug. And like I said, you know, more than likely they can die. Just 2 weeks ago, One Day at a Time outreach homeless team went on the street and they found somebody who had overdosed. The person was dead. But because of our team and the grace of God, they gave him Narcan, and this individual was able to come back to life. So these are the things that we're out there fighting. It's a nightmare on the street. So when you see that gun, it was a lot of things that transpired before that they picked up that gun.
Yeah. And then One Day at a Time is known for going down into the ugliest, darkest, deepest places that nobody else in the city wants to go, including the subways.
That's right.
Now, in the wintertime in particular, you all will go down the subways, try to convince homeless people, come on, get out of this cold. Come, we got someplace safe we can take you where you can be warm.
That's right.
But in the summer, do you go down in the
subways?
subways?
Yeah, we go, you know, all year round. You know, we have an outreach team that goes out there for homeless individuals. We have an outreach team that does it in the summer or even the winter. You know, anybody that's listening to us on air, we're looking for people who are in need of help. So the City of Philadelphia is partners, not just One Day at a Time. We want to be able to tell you that help is here. And
God is so good because he has preserved One Day at a Time. There were those who thought once your dad got called on home to glory, that One Day at a Time might disappear. Oh, nobody's going to know how to run ODAT after Reverend Wells. But he taught you. He taught you well. He entrusted you. He put you at the helm of power. You've got good, strong people around you. You got somebody watching your back, Brother Space. You got Mom, Margaret Wells watching you. You got Brother David. You got a bunch of other wonderful people. I'll shout out even Miss Jennifer Folks. You got some good people. That's right. And Mrs. Tasha Wells,
wife,
too, watching your back.
I have an awesome team. You know, my job is to keep my father's legacy alive, not to make my name big, and to also just, you know, be willing to listen to my spirit. You know, as we have all our ancestors, I have to hear them in my ears, and especially my father when it comes to doing the right thing, especially in the dark when you're by yourself. Yeah, well, I keep him in my phone, and I recorded him, as you know, and every time I feel a little weak, I listen to that tape. I listen to the tape, and actually in the tape, he's giving instructions to you, but what the heck, you, me, you know, we'll catch it. We'll catch it, and one day you're going to look at it too, I'm sure. Thank you so much.
So I love you. I appreciate all that you're doing. Keep doing it. Keep strong. Keep faithful to the mission of ODAD. Who dat? ODAD. That's right.
You got it.
And if people want to know more about what you're doing June 1st, where do they need to call?
They can call into our office between hours of 9 to 5, 215-226-7860, 215-226-7860. Come on out. If you had anybody that passed away from AIDS or drug and alcohol, or if you just want to instill hope, or if you just want to be a part of your community. This is not the mayor's problem. It's not just the police department problem. This is our problem. We must own it.
Absolutely. And on June the 1st, when we do this event, it's going to be out in front of the AFCOM
That's
again?
right. 25th and Lehigh as always.
Okay.
Right in the heart of the hood where the issues are, that's where we go.
And we're going to start at?
We're going to start at 5 o'clock this year. The main performance to take off at about 7 with Slick Rick the Ruler. And just please come on out and help us. You can volunteer if you want to just come back into the community and give things away. But it's a partnership and a family event. Come on out.
All right. It sounds good to me. Thank you so much
Thank you
again.
so much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank
Appreciate you. Appreciate Brother Space for helping to get you here. That's what's up.
We love you.
Give my love to Mom. I'm coming to see her soon because she's going to kill me.
You got it. You got it.
And to your wife as well.
Most definitely will.
All right. Thank you, Mel Wells.
Thank you,
We appreciate you. He's the president of One Day at a Time. Coming up next, we got another president joining us, and she is here to tell you the story of the Global Leadership Charter Academy. They are a global institute indeed, and she'll tell you exactly what that means right after this.
Hey, what's up?
Look, I am beyond drunk. I am so hungry. You want to go get something to eat?
Yeah, I only had like 2 drinks.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, yeah, meet me outside my house in like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll meet you at your house. Okay.
What's up, man? Come on, my God, you're so drunk. Just get in my car. Let's go.
Whoa, you're swerving.
I'm fine. You're the drunk one. I only had 2 cups. That's it.
I'm drunk. I thought you were drunk.
I'm not drunk. If I was drunk, I wouldn't be driving. It was just 2 beers. It's not going to do anything.
OMG, join the South TV, it's the place to be. What we got is what you need. Come and follow me on a trip through the campus with my squad at the Union and the Union. See my man's Todd at the call on the hammers like a savage. He be on the camera like 1, 2, 3, action. Makes it sounds back to back and that's a fact. D1 sports we never lack. Calm center, almost there, north to south. Man, that walk is never fair. Passing battles straight to Newman. See some kids and tell them join the crew. As he enter the studio with the new recruits. LaSalle TV, enjoy it near you.
3, 2, 1, action. You may think a guy would be producing this, but I can too. Anyone can find a cure.
Women are being downgraded for their physical ability, but you can be just as strong.
%20 of women are engineers, but it doesn't stop there.
I'm a tech girl. I'm a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
I am a tech girl.
Well, hello, everybody. We welcome you back to this edition of News You Can Use. I'm your host, Thera Martin Milling, and I am so glad for this opportunity to shine the spotlight on the Global Leadership Charter Academy. You are awesome. Dr. Naomi Booker is here. She's my soror of Alpha Kappa Alpha and the distinguished leader and founder and mother in charge, if you will, at GLA. Congratulations on 10 years.
Thank you. 10 years. We're celebrating 10 years, Global Leadership Academy Charter School in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. We've been around since 2007, and we've served 700 children a year over the last 10 years. So you can count and see how many children we've served as we prepare future leaders of the world.
And you have a waiting list that's to die for.
We had 1,400 people this year apply for 100 seats.
Wow.
And 75 of those seats were kindergarten. So you see there was only 25 seats across the grades. Our parents are satisfied, and that's the thing about
the word is out on you. The word is out on you. You got a good operation over there. You don't take no mess. When I walk into the building, if I'm walking in any kind of bent over, I immediately straighten up and with pride and hold my head up high, because you're kings and queens, you're scholars. They know how to act in there because they know Dr. Booker don't take nothing but the best behavior, attitude, spirit, energy. Right. And so it's just beautiful when you walk in the door. The people at the front desk are always gracious. They're also very professional, and they want to see all your ID and all of that, because you're keeping our children safe. Keeping our children safe.
They say getting in our building is like getting into Fort Knox.
And I like that. As a parent and a grandparent, you're darn right, I like that. I want to know that my little ones are safe. The school building itself, it's like brand new. It's like super modern.
Well, it's actually, you know, it was built in 2011. So it is.
I call that brand new.
It's brand new by standards, but it is modern, but it's also wanted to be a fun place for children to come to school. You know, they should want to be there. You know, it's bright, the colors, you know, the outside of the building. You know, when you walk in through the glass doors, the skylight, but there's a reason for that. On the floor is a map of the world, and then at the dome lets you see the stars. So for children to go through that front door, they're standing on top of the world, and the stars are where they go. So, you know, you put that in their head from the beginning, and they believe it, you know, because that's who they are. They are the ones who are the leaders of the world. And if we don't do that for them now, we rob them of their future.
Yeah. And when you talk about global, worldwide, your young people don't just come to school and sit at the desk every day from 8 to 3 or whatever the hours are, and then go home, and then that's the end of it. Some of your students, they actually take wing and fly.
Oh, absolutely. Our children travel from kindergarten through 8th grade.
Oh, excuse me.
So, yes, excuse me. Kindergarten to 2nd grade, they travel Philadelphia. And then 3rd and 4th grade, they travel Pennsylvania. 5th grade goes to D.C. 6th grade travels by bus to Atlanta for the Civil Rights Tour. 7th grade travels by bus to Canada, because you have to have a passport by 7th grade at GLA. And then 8th grade, we get on a plane and we fly to the Bahamas on a cruise ship, by the way, because we're going to see the African diaspora and the artifacts that are left. So all of this travel, expeditionary travel, is tied into our global studies curriculum, which we wrote, which is related to the social studies standards. But the idea is that children will study 3 countries a year, and then they will relate it to who they are, and then they will travel to see those places. So if you think about it as a child, you remember the things that you saw, you know, not something out of a history book. So if I'm thinking about, like today, our children do not know much about Dr. Martin Luther King. We just just got back from our civil rights tour, because they study the civil rights fight that we had. Now, when you get to Atlanta and they go into his church and they walk to where he was buried, and you go to Memphis and you see where he was murdered, you know, this is all something that stays with them forever.
Sure.
And children, when we sit in his church, they'll come to me and they'll say, Dr. Booker, can you take a picture of where I'm going to sit right here where Coretta Scott King sat? Now, you think they won't remember that for the rest of their days? Of course they will. And so that's why we do. If we're trying to take them out of their 10-block radius, out of West Philadelphia, North Philadelphia, wherever you are, just so they can see the world and they can enjoy the opportunities that are there for you if you go seek it. And that's why we do what we're doing.
Now, you've had students go to China and some other.
Well, we have a group going to China Sunday.
Oh my God.
So they're actually geared up to go to China. They're going to Beijing. They're going to Shanghai. They are actually going to be in Disney World for the opening of the Disney World in Beijing.
Oh my. What an experience.
What an experience, right? So when they come back, they'll say to us,
Need any more chaperones?
they'll say to us, go to D.C. Come on, we want to see the rest of the world. Last year, we took 9 children to Kenya, East Africa.
Yes.
Because we have an orphanage there, and which we partnered with Bethlehem Baptist Church, and we went with a group last year to that. So we have international travel that we've just added to our program. Next year, we'll probably be going to Mexico, and then we'll come back because we teach Mandarin and Spanish at the school.
Yes.
And then, of course, our roots are in Africa.
Yes, that is so awesome and wonderful. So now for parents or grandparents or other caretakers of young people who are watching right now, it's too late for them to support your fundraiser, which is happening on Wednesday,
It's never too late.
May the 3rd, the fabulous event that you're having at the African American Historical Museum, downtown Center City. However, like you said, it's never too late because people can still, if you're really interested, if you're passionate about education and supporting young people with these trips and all that, that stuff doesn't come cheap. But you'd like to write a check to the school to contribute, to support the vision and the dreams and the real work that's happening through the vision of Dr. Booker, they can write a check, make it out to Global
Leadership Academy. You can go online and use your PayPal, your credit card. Our website is www.glacharter.org. Or you can mail it to the school at 4601 Girard Avenue. And I invite people to come to the school. Come and see us. Come and see what education is supposed to be for the children in this city. We are a charter school, and you know we're in a fight about it, but we're just trying to provide the best education possible.
Yes.
Our 10th anniversary is this year. On Wednesday, we're celebrating it at the African American Museum. If you can't come, donate. Every $25, $10, whatever you have, because our children are not, they're urban children, but they're not high level. So we're taking them, and the average trip is about $1,000. So that's what our fundraiser is about, to raise money. We also have another school that we just inherited this year at 52nd and Pine, Global Leadership Academy Southwest. And guess what? They're going on their first excursion this year, and we've only been in business with them for 6-7 months.
Wow.
So they're going to Canada June 5th.
Okay.
So all this money, you know, we're doing that. We have several events coming forward. We have June 2nd at the Belmont Mansion. We're going to have a wonderful party there, and we would invite people to come to that.
Okay.
And then on Saturday, if you're looking for a job, come to our hiring fair at GLASW at 52nd and Pine from 9 to 12, or go online and apply.
Okay.
And because we're looking for awesome teachers who want to prepare future leaders of the world.
Okay, and now that job fair for instructors, for educators, for teachers, that's this Saturday, May the 6th.
Yes, right.
Okay, so this program, people will see it this week. It starts tomorrow, running on the air, and it's on every day, different times, and so people will see about it. So teachers out there, you're viewing, maybe you took a sabbatical for a year, whatever, you want to get back up on the horse of education, then you may want to do it at the Global Leadership Charter Academy. It's going to be good, and the job fair is this Saturday, May the 6th. What time?
9 to 12 at
12.
5200 Pine Street in Southwest Philadelphia.
Okay.
And you know what? Teachers who want to teach, come be with children who want to learn.
I love it. That sounds so good to me. Now, I don't know if this already happened or not. I was just on your website a couple of days ago. It was something about a big march you all were doing through the city. Did that occur already?
Not through the city yet, but we're going to be in Harrisburg on Monday with the Keystone Alliance, which is our charter. We're going, trying to get to the legislators to really see what charters are about. Stop listening to the naysayers and the people who don't really know. Listen, all charters are not perfect, but neither are all school district schools. So, we want the best educational places for all children. So don't knock down one just because you think that the other is not. That shouldn't be. It's about children. It's not about money. It's about children.
Absolutely. Any advice that you would give to parents real quickly as we're coming to the end of the school year, and I know children are happy we're out of school over the summer, but somewhere along the way, we as parents, grandparents, or other caretakers of children, we still need to be inserting some education into their lives and not just let them play all summer, correct?
That's right, and we have a year-round calendar at GLA. We don't follow the regular traditional calendar. We open up mid-August and we close the end of June. So they're only away from us 6 weeks in the summer. So what can I say to people who have them for 14 weeks? Your child is going to lose some of the information they gained last year. So it's up to you as a parent, because see, we cannot do it by ourselves, but it's up to you as a parent to help them make sure they read, go to the library, spend an hour a day making sure they do something instructional, and just play catch up. Don't try to teach them new things, strengthen what they learned from the year before. And when you do that, and listen, if your school is giving away books, because a lot of them do, go get it. You know, and go to all these places, there are books, places out there, and listen, all the museums have summer programs for students, and some of them are free. They give you SEPTA tokens and all that to get your children. You know, it's wonderful
no excuse for us to just let them be at home and be dumb.
It's not. And just be on the street and just, you know, and I know they want to be free. You can pick a time for them to be free. But, you know, when we travel, ours is not this is a school bus travel. This is not just on a vacation. You know, on the bus, they're actually journaling. They're writing about things. The movies they see are about what they're getting ready to go see, the history.
Excellent.
So
I love
that's
it.
what you want.
You're doing a great job. And before we completely run out of time, I got to take a moment to salute the lady who birthed you into this world.
They'll never be proud.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Mrs. Audrey Johnson Thornton. She is the queen diva of Philadelphia, if you will. She is the brainchild, the visionary behind the historic Belmont Mansion in Fairmount Park. When she first took over that place, it was so-so.
It's terrible.
Your mother made it fabulous. She's got all kinds of expansion projects that have been completed under her leadership and vision. And I went out there right around time for Jerry Mondesire's surprise birthday party we did a couple years ago. And I hadn't been there for a minute. I was like, whoa, I went in, it was fabulous. So hats off to your mom. We love you, Miss Audrey. We love you. We want you to feel better so we can see you back out at the mansion.
Oh, glad you said that, because you know what she is. She's 91 years old, but still kicking.
Bless her.
And I always said I wanted to grow up and be just like her.
She's the hat lady in Philadelphia, too.
Yes,
Thank you so much. I love you so much. All right. That's it for us. We got to get out of here and make way for the next great show coming your way on LaSalle TV. Keep your dial locked where it is. And remember that life is fragile. Handle it with prayer.